Eve consumed all of the inmates' actions. The only difference was the water. Eve threw away all of the tap water bottles as she discovered what was causing the illness. After that, she requested an urgent supply of bottled water. The weather was going to make it take a while. Two fools decided it would be the ideal time to go surfing because it was getting so awful. They desired to surf a wave that was 50 feet high. A piece of driftwood impaled one of them. When his companion took him to the firehouse for treatment, the firefighters were unable to provide much assistance. They couldn't simply pull the driftwood out. If they did, it might get Rocco killed. All they could do was make him comfortable and see how his friend Tommy was doing. Tommy experienced a seizure. Gabriella advised him to remain seated even though he wanted to immediately stand again. The seizure can indicate a more serious issue. Gabriella also regretted not returning to 3 Rock with Eve. She kept running into Audrey when she went to the firehouse because she felt she could help more people there. Audrey learned about Finn, the kind man who showed interest in Gabriella. Finn had visited the fire station. Additionally, Audrey unintentionally disclosed that she was concerned about Bode. Bode is the ex-boyfriend of Gabriella and the current boyfriend of Audrey. It was really uncomfortable. They weren't sure if they should talk to each other about Bode. Both of them reasoned that concentrating on their work would enable them to overcome their uneasiness. Eve had Sharon investigate who owned the property from which the tap water originated while they were at the firehouse. As it happens, Axalta was the owner. The largest chemical company in California was Axalta. To avoid being sued, they even have a number of senators and congressmen in their pocket. Chemicals were being dumped into the water supply. Although it was technically against the law, these individuals were once more shielded from the repercussions. They were also likely responsible for halting Birch's autopsy. Before Birch's brother could be tested, they may have also persuaded his sister to withdraw the lawsuit and have him cremated. A large corporation such as Axalta would not transport a group of poisoned inmates, not when the same prisoners were despised by society. They would not be the subject of an outcry. In order to prevent Axalta from contaminating the tap water, Eve needed Sharon's assistance because the inmates were largely ignored by their own family. In the meantime, Bode restored the Lighthouse Museum to its original state. A few fishermen who were out on the water were saved by them. Additionally, he saved a life. If he didn't have an addiction, painkillers would be ideal because he hurt his back doing that. Walter, for his part, was happy that Vince had changed his mind. Walter only wanted Vince to let his father decide what was best for him. He still desired to be in charge of his own decisions. Later, he decided to visit the institution. For him, it was the ideal location. He was driven by Vince and Bode. Bode ran into his probation officer when the men got back to Edgewater. His PO was curious as to why he was interacting with known criminals. If such is the case, he may be sent back to jail. Violet's ideal position was at Axalta. She was hired as their new attorney. She was now one of the group aggressively obstructing the firemen access to fresh water at 3 Rock. Axalta sent their legal team to deliver a cease and desist to Sharon after learning that the inmates had been poisoned. Violet was now employed by such individuals. Therefore, a future with Jake may not exist.